There we go. There we go. We should be in here. What's up, everybody? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, quick mic check for us in the chat. Everything is everything. Something like walaikum salam, bro. What's happening? Um, put something in the chat for us. Make sure that you can hear us first. You know what I mean? Say something. Blue pill, Minister Jude. Make sure we got a good mic check out here.
Peace,
Yo,
peace,
yo,
peace.
yo, yo.
Yo.
Peace to the family. What's poppin'?
Peace, peace.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat if y'all can hear us, then we can get this party started, man.
Yes, indeed.
Let me see.
And I know it's a little delay on the stream, y'all saw from YouTube.
Peace, family. Can y'all hear us out there?
Yeah, there they go. Thank you. Everything is everything. Appreciate it. Okay. Nikki Love 621. What's up? What's happening? What's going on?
Reggie, what's going on?
Big Red,
CC. Somebody from South Africa in the house tonight. Tobago.
Yeah.
Lima.
Yeah. Jay Jammin, what's happening?
Rondé, what's going on?
Yeah. Do me a favor, everybody. Click the thumbs up button to get the party started for us. Please click the thumbs up button so we can get this party started.
Gwen, what's going on, Gwen?
What's up, Gwen?
We are live. We live.
Cool. Appreciate y'all. What's up, Monica?
Coley Cole in the building. What's going on?
There you see Coley Cole, the GOAT. Coley Cole, the GOAT. That's my real estate partner. What up, Coley Cole? Reginald said, "What up, Blue Pill?" All right, man. Let's get this party started, man. Man. First, thank you everyone for coming out again. Please click the thumbs up button. Man, we in for a treat, man. I'm kind of going back in the bag here. I'm really going back to the roots of Noble Anpu for sure. You know what I mean? Going down to the tree trunk, and I'm actually about to start a series of interviews. Just want to, build with brothers and get some full story, get some full context and stuff, and in tonight's conversations, y'all can see on the screen, Blueprint 444, the conscious field of reality, featuring no other than himself, the Blue Pill. And before I bring him on, I must say that man, I think a lot of people don't know our history for real. And some magical things happening. But I'm gonna give y'all a quick little sneak peek into why this brother is here tonight and how really plays an intricate role on the priesthood spiritual aspect of things that me and Minister Jude to do. So some years ago, and I want to say, let me give a disclaimer. Listen, this is not the promotion of anybody, because there's some people on here that probably don't get along with it, probably got charges, probably in the being right now. That's very true. But I just want to take you all the way back to 2013, before the allegations and before certain convictions then came up, right? 2013, I was inspired by the 444, by the Blue Pill, to say we created something called resolution444.com. And it was like, hey, let's go take Detroit over. Yes, let's go take Detroit. Let's go buy it up. And it was talking about putting together a collective consciousness of folks who was doing their thing in the community at that time, right? Well, I believe that we smart enough to be able to go ahead and build this reality that we keep on talking about. So it was a resolution call. All right. So that had came about. But the main thing I want to show you guys is this. Back in 2011, no, this is Blog Talk Radio days, right? Which I got inspired by Blog Talk from Blue Pill and Red Pill. They was doing the Blog Talk, the KTL radio. That inspired me to do the Blog Talk, right? And so when I get on Blog Talk in 2011, you will see that the name of this particular broadcast was called Emergency Broadcast. This is Series 4, Solar Eclipse 913. Now I'm dealing with frequencies and numbers, obviously. Sirius 4, solar eclipse 913. 13 is very important because we were dealing with a series of alignments that was taking place at the 13th degree. And I'm not going to get too heavy into that. In fact, I'm not going to even touch it. I'm just letting you know, let's put it on the record. You see the number 913. We go to supreme mathematics, what they say, that's born. 9 is born, right? Okay, so something is happening on the 13th. Notice it says Rainbow Prophecy MP3. It was on this radio show that we went outside and did something called what I call a galactic activation. And this is where the minister Jews tell me, hey, Noble, put that up. Don't show the public this stuff, man. It's too heavy. Don't do that. All right. Put it up. All right. So I put it up. But in that visualization, I'm going to tell you, and I got proof this year in our Patreon when we did it, we go outside and we focus conscious attention and we create a rainbow. Hence, you saw it say Rainbow Prophecy. Now, dig this. You see Mr. Who? Paul Eric Moreland makes a post. What do it say, ladies and gentlemen? It said rainbows over Harlem. Do y'all see the mother effing pyramids? Yes. And then look at the very bottom. What do it say? July 13th, 13, Facebook for BlackBerry smartphones. That's how far this go back. Blackberries, okay? Okay? We're going back to the BlackBerry days. And he was the one to capture the rainbow over the pyramid because that pyramid is the National Black Theater where we would do lectures at. So the rainbow was there, but you see on June 29th. Now count the days. June 29th to July 13th. Watch you come up with 13 whole days in between. Telling you something was going to happen dealing with 913, the science of the number 13, which I can go and show you that, but I'm not going to show you that. I just wanted to show you that when we did this particular prophecy right here and casting that intention out, it popped up in my brother's side of the field and he was able to capture it and make the post. Because when you understand this dynamic duo, and duo just don't mean two. I'm talking about the entanglement of spiritual priests. To be honest with you, you understand that it's something that's it's like the Avengers mounting up. I'll put it that way. Old school, I'm very old. So Voltron. I may not even know what Voltron is. All right. But Voltron. All right. It's coming together when this happens. All right. And so I'm going to leave it right here. I got some other stuff to show, but I'll wait till the interview progresses because I got some questions based off some things that I got in here and whatnot. But just wanted to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, we talking about what we now know as the covenant of light. And that's our whole thing, is the light force is on your side. But with no further ado, let me introduce, man, the Blue Pillar. Y'all know one half of the twins, the KTL, dealing with Know the Ledge Radio, going way, way, way back, man. But Blue Pillar, what's happening, man? What's going on, man?
Peace, love and light. Honest, thank you. Shout out to the priesthood. We got Jew, we got Anpu, and we got Blue. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we are officially we're here in the building. It's an honor. Thank you for the invite. And as you said, this is a very propitious time for priesthoods, for light bringers and light bearers. So again, I'm definitely, you know, mindful and acknowledging the opportunity.
man. You know, man, it's all love, man. We definitely appreciate you and whatnot, man. Take us to the beginning, bro. I want to do a timeline, right? You know, the birth years, man. You know, what city you born in? You know, you obviously you're born from your mother. Is your dad in the house with you? What's going on, man?
Yeah, me and Red, we tapped in the middle of November 14th, through the portal of the Bronx, New York, right? So 1975 in the Bronx, New York, you know, as you know, she's told the story. I'll retell it. She didn't notice she had twins. Oh, cause we had one heartbeat and they didn't do ultrasound. So they just had preparations for Red. He initially came first. And my mother, they had her on the side somewhere and they went to clean her up like 20, 30 minutes after, and they noticed a foot and that's where I came from. So I came out bleached. And my face was blue. I don't think that's why I'm blue.
Uh,
But yeah, so my initial introduction was one in which I was unexpected. I was a surprise. It took my mother a while because she said that she had not known the dynamic of what twins entail. She never knew twins. Twins were rare in the 70s. Um, like post the 80s when they came out with um in vitro, all of those different birthing methods. That's when like twins became more populous. But in the 70s and things of that nature, it was somewhat rare. So she didn't have any experience. She didn't know what that was even about. It took her a minute. Um, so I joke that I'm always kind of like of a late bloomer because
right.
you know it just takes a little while longer for things, I guess, to catch on when it deals with me per se. So, uh, my mother, my father, they were together around upward until like the second year of our lives. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember that's the first memory that I have that's consecrated, like crystallized. Yeah, I remember the day that they separated. And by the age of 5, my mother was going to the island of St. Croix because she was pregnant with our youngest brother, KT. KT,
Mm-hmm.
the arts degree.
Shout out KT. Shout out
Yeah,
KT.
Yeah.
definitely. Shout out KT. She had
Genius.
complications
Yeah.
with that pregnancy because she was iron deficient. And her mother is from the island of St. Croix. And her mother reminded her that she's like, you got access to natural remedies back home. Because my mother didn't want to go to the hospital because they wanted to do a blood transfusion. And in the 80s, there was a lot of conversations around tainted blood and things of that nature. She just didn't want to gamble and roll those dice. So she went to St. Croix to get some assistance from herbal remedies, and she runs into Dr. Sabi on the island, and that starts that odyssey of the healing journey that my mother will ultimately end up going on with Sabi. And so that that becomes our initial exposure to somewhat of an individual that's very much rebellious against the system, not fearful of the Western world or sciences, and it starts imbuing this energy, in us as well. And just through observation, we can see like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this dude is not scared. Oh, this dude is, against the norm. Oh, this dude is out here doing whatever he wants, right? But this dude also has results because people are, coming in one condition and we see them leaving with a whole different energy disposition, or they'll come back and they'll be super excited when you saw them clearly fearful when they first showed up. Um, we leave St. Croix, we come back to Brooklyn at this point to visit our father for Christmas. I forget exactly what year it was. By this time, I'm 12 though, so it was like 7 years later or what have you. And it's my introduction to Brooklyn because now he's living in Flatbush, Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
and like 1 or 2 days, I'm like, I ain't going back to St. Croix.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm parking here. It was a cultural renaissance. It was something that I had. It was just I can't even put it in words. It was a I was overwhelmed by a smorgasbord of culture,
Mm-hmm.
different smells, different sounds, and different looks. So Flatbush is like a conglomeration of melanated people from the Caribbean, from all the different countries and islands in the Caribbean, and just like a whole immigrant population. And then, of course, the dynamic of what we will probably today call FBAs, people that they're from southern regions that were up there expressing themselves. So you just got to see this whole worldly consortium and congealing of cultures and what have you. And I just pulled up. I was a student, and that's kind of like we started getting cues on fashion, what I'm saying? Different eclectic access to different music and sounds. hip hop was burgeoning and blossoming. You know, I encountered 5% philosophy in the streets of Brooklyn. You know, polo, all of this stuff that just ultimately becomes foundational for who we are in the earlier years. And by the time I'm like 14, we was kind of what they call outside. And from the age of like 14 to 21, I was just pretty much married to that, you know, to that level of education in the streets. And yeah, come around the age of I get incarcerated, and then I get exposed to another layer of information once I'm behind the wall, because now I'm getting to read books. I'm getting, you know, exposed to different people's philosophies, and them explaining to me, you know, I believe in this because of that, or what have you. And I start formulating my own ideas. I mean, in between my street stints, I never stopped reading. I never stopped educating myself or being exposed to different levels of intelligentsia. And I always knew that for myself, you know, I wanted to immerse myself in something that was challenging, because the streets wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? That was where you went and demonstrated your skill set. I mean, so by the age of 25, um, ironically enough, I'm in Miami with a young lady I was in a relationship with at the time. Her name was Melissa, ironically enough. And it just I had to ask for like a sign, because I was going through a lot prior to meeting this young lady, and I was like, "Yo, God, if you just if you just send me one that has all of the attributes of all of these other ones, I slow down, pay attention." And you know, this young lady, I took it as a sign because she was born the same day as us, right? And around this time, I'm reading the Hiram Key. I'm reading a few books, so I'm looking at the initials, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of deep. You know what I mean? Like these things are lining up, and it harkened me to pay a little bit more attention. And this person becomes a catalyst for me wanting to make a change in my life and slow down. So I become a square. I start saying I want to pursue my goals, which were journalism at the time. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something with my life for the first time. I actually felt like being here and extending my stay, as opposed to like gambling with my life every single day, which was almost a prerequisite for street life. And in the interim of me changing, you know, and shifting between from streets into, and I can't even say it was because it was nothing that existed over here first in terms of consciousness. I had came into contact with a VHS. The first one that I ever got was an Ashraquazi one, African Origins of Christianity. And then the second one I got was X-Man Decoded from Phil Valentine. And I just felt like it wasn't a community yet, but I knew that I'm like, whoever is having these conversations and wherever this information is matriculating to, or, you know, wherever they're congregating at to have these conversations, that's where I want to be. You know, I want to be in this environment as opposed to my old environment. And several things, you know, kind of like led to me. I I was on the fence. I had one foot in still, and then spirit pushed me totally, you know, 2 feet into consciousness, and then 9/11 happened, and then that was just a game changer. There was no looking back.
That's got man. That's a beautiful timeline. That answered a lot of my questions too. To get it, and I thank you for that. And you know what? It's interesting you was in journalism, because I seen this brother notebooks. You know what I mean? And I never seen such meticulous notes. And I remember looking at them, and I said, "Damn, this is how you take." Because I got chicken scratch, bro. I be all over the place. I'm thorough, bro. My process is thorough. I understand it, but it's thorough. I seen this brother notes, bro.
Yeah, look, I'm taking notes right now.
Bro.
Like my stuff is,
man, it's
I still take
immaculate,
notes.
bro.
I'm still a note taker.
You know, but so the schools of thought, right? So I think the Ashraquazi was the grand initiator for you, which definitely was a question. What was the grand initiator for you? And then I know you said you came up, you was hearing 5% lingo when you got to Brooklyn and whatnot. What are the various schools of thoughts, whether it be Nation of Islam, 5%, Hebrew Israelite, that you were consuming? If you can, probably if you can put them in order, your development. If not, that's cool. What are those schools?
The first I was exposed to information again just in the streets of New York. You got the Ansar Allah community with the pamphlets. You got the Nation with the papers and their information. Then you got the 5%ers with the Supreme lessons and the plus degrees. You know what I'm saying? So even if I wasn't directly part of any of these organizations or what have you, I had friends, so I had exposure. I'm reading material. But when I get behind the wall, because I'm from New York, they expect me to know everything, first of all, right? But I'm like, I don't really know everybody's stuff, but I'm studying with everybody. I'm reading the Bible, I'm reading the Quran, right? And I'm reading it in silence and solitude. So now I'm having this opportunity, and in my, like I said, prior to this, I'm an avid reader, so I already have an active imagination when it comes to reading. And I have this voice in my head to be like, nah, yeah, right? I have a like a big homie spirit that's helping me along with stuff that I'm reading. It's like, I don't, yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't really, nah, that right there, that's where they threw the monkey wrench in. So I have this spiritual discernment about me, and I find out that I'm able to mediate a lot of people's dissension just right in my unit. Like the Christians don't get along with the Muslims, you know what I'm saying? And the most Zen person in the spot that's super quiet, I didn't know at that time he had a Hebrew Bible, and I thought that he was an Israelite. But every time I would ask him, he said that he wasn't. He ends up going home and writing me a letter, and he told me that he was Moorish, and it's the first time that I heard that. But I remember, because of this brother's demeanor, because of, his sense of calm and control, I was like, yeah, whatever he's studying, I need to know more about that. So my inclination, like even now in my role as Pope Pablo, I developed a methodology when I was incarcerated about how to read the Bible, and it worked in the unit with people who were raised in the Bible and everything, and I wasn't. I don't want to say that I was freestyling. I was just following spirit in a particular way to say I had an interest to want to know, but then nobody was really there qualified to teach me, so I had to teach myself. And Spirit said, don't read the whole book. Read the verses that are in the concordance with the Gregorian calendar date or whatever the day is, and see if you can find any commonality. Because I'm always looking to decode something. So I started employing that method, and I was able to show people that were into the Bible that there were similarities with people that were into the Quran based on these Gregorian calendar dates. And it was just something that was working. And I was like, wow, I can use this stuff for unity more than it is being used for division, because none of them individualistically are going to come to these particular scriptures or these books and put down their own thing. So I want to operate as the fulcrum, because they swear that I'm from New York, so I know something. I was like, let me use that position to bring people together. And I I found the reverse of what people say when it comes to scripture and religion. I found my ability to bring people together as opposed to dividing them, you know. So I would you said, so the trajectory wise, uh it was a conglomeration of I was throwing everything together, you know what I'm saying? And attempting myself to make sense of the things that I was reading that I found similarities in. But there wasn't a lot of people pointing directions. The when I got from like jail to prison, then all of this information became weaponized with different sects. So they was using all of this stuff to really try to get at one another. So
The
yeah,
information, Paul?
absolutely. Like the Ansar law, who we know today is not Nubians, they would have 101 questions to ask.
Yeah, 101
Man,
questions. That's a Muslim.
Sunni,
Yep.
yeah, Muslim. So they was there bombing on one another. They were weaponizing the words.
Yeah.
And I'm attempting to play unifier, but don't know that, you know what I mean? This is what they do. They're banging on each other. They're utilizing these different like, so what I know, so what I experienced later in Harlem, I had already seen that with, you know what I mean, when I was incarcerated, that I was like, oh, people would take information and weaponize it, you know, rather than attempt to, you know, utilize it to build bridges and bring people to an understanding, because someone always has to come out right. And I didn't want to necessarily, I didn't want to be the one that was right. I just wanted to be the one that, you know, it's like, look, we can all benefit from learning and studying because you know something that I don't, but I got a perspective maybe that you never heard. And if you know, if you're open to exchange and not, you know what I'm saying, like defending your feelings, we can possibly grow from this because I got all these ideas that I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. 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 I got one more, and then go ahead, Jew. The legend. The legend is you got Freemasonry, and you mentioned you the first time you hear the more science out of it, and then you got something called the Moorish rite of Masonry, right?
mhm.
So the legend is you actually was in one of those esoteric bodies, and you actually served as the high priest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on. But hey, if you can expound on the brotherhood in your reasoning, and which one was it? You know, because you know how it be. Illuminati. There, I told you, it's Illuminati. Look at them. You know,
Oh
anyway. You know,
yeah.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, I
I've
was the
been
boule.
yeah, you I've been wondering how we're gonna have this conversation one day with the community because you know I got yeah, it's an interesting conversation. But I don't know if the community is like grown to understand the differences
Mm-hmm.
per se, or to appreciate that level of access and impact. Because we was in the Grand Lodge, they you know they were saluting and recognizing us. A young man ended up going all the way to England to get the charter, and he stood on business. He demonstrated, you know what I'm saying, something that's called the men fight right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes beyond what the blue and the red lodge were dealing with in regards to them hailing from St. John or what have you. And this goes back to Kemet.
Yeah, Memphis Middle. Yeah.
Yeah, so we you know we were standing on that demonstration. It was Assault Temple number one. It was a Moorish Masonic, you know, lodge, if you will, the first of its kind,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an experiment in us taking this information and taking it to the next level, doing something with it, you know what I mean, and really seeing if it's operable. Not
Mm-hmm.
us just making ourselves feel great about one another, but let's go to this lodge, let's knock on these doors and let's see what we got. And we had something for real,
Mm.
you know. And I was the almoner. I was the priest of that particular lodge, and more so than it dealt with, you know, high priest in regards to rituals. I was responsible for the health and wellness of my lodge, funeral services, but also administering health. And I was able to operate in my capacity of having direct access to Sabi products and my mother's knowledge. A brother in our lodge, his father had cancer and it was terminal. They sent them to hospice, and I was able to administer, you know, a protocol to his father and extend his father's life by 2 years. And not
Mm.
only extended, but you know, his father was bounced back in like 2 or 3 weeks,
Mm.
and that gave me a level of fortification to say, all right, you know, this is what I can do. I don't even have to be the healer. I could be the bridger between the people that need the healing and the people that administer it. This gave me a lot of resolve that I needed. I was working with CMOS back then. This was 2006, 2007. It was way back in the days when
Mhm.
the stuff was still on the fringes or what have you. So it really put me in position, and it helped me understand brotherhood. It helped me understand the importance of secrets. And again, these, this ain't the Illuminati stuff or what have you. This is just basic rights, and things should be kept under veils of secrecy for people that are ready to receive, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
we can see now, we can see why, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me comment on that and then go ahead, Jew. I appreciate that, bro. I really do. Because I came from the school of thought. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I don't want to hear about the white man is inside a Masonic circle and he got all these secret codes and passwords and stuff and he runs society. And then when I look into the landscape, there is a black lodge. Now I know you're gonna say that the black lodge is subordinate to the white boys, but listen, I still want to know who is who, what's what, and most importantly, I do not want to walk because in the United States of America, when you got opposition, you find yourself in the courtroom. And I'd be damned, and this is just me. I'd be damned if I go inside of a courtroom, you tell me a prosecutor and the judge is doing some type of hand signs, and you are unprivy to it. And the only thing you would have to know is what that is, and you can have a communication yourself. Man, get out of here. And then what you end up finding out when you up at north is that the northern white boy has a working relationship with Prince Hall Masons, meaning black guys can come over to their lodge and see what's going on in politics. Ask me how I know, because I went into that particular school at Prince Hall in Philadelphia, went down to number 1 Broad Street where the white boys at, and went into their lodge and see them do work. And when it was finished, oh, hey, this is such and such the attorney. He's an attorney. Hey, and started the network and see who was who, right?
Hmm.
And so my thing is, I really appreciate that because see what happens is I feel like we be coming from a thought that, well, the Moors taught the Masons, okay, but then when you meet a Mason, you don't know what's what. You can't stand on a level. You don't know what's on the square. You can't do nothing, right? But you say you got 360 degrees of wisdom and you get to wear your fez, but you can't even communicate the first 2 and 3rd degree of masonry by a simple hand sign. Are you serious? What kind of master are you at that particular point? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt like, especially if they say we initiated them to hold the keys because we were falling and they are our brothers, because that's a whole nother conversation to be had. They say that the legend is black folks, you're falling out of power. You're going to initiate some white boys who know what time it is. And then these are going to be the keepers and custodians for when you wake up in the future, they got you. And I find it very ironic, folks. If you go Google image, Northern Scottish Rite, Supreme Court jurisdiction. I'm sorry, Supreme Council jurisdiction. If you go Google image that, I'd be damned if those same northern states are not the exact same states that the slaves ran to get free, which eventually becomes the northern people who gonna go down south and take black folks back down south where you got a chance to pick up guns and shoot at your slave master. I'm telling you, the northern white boy and the southern white boy has
Two different
always
white
been
boys.
two different white boys.
Two different
They
white
Well,
boys.
always been. They always been, and you need to understand what I'm telling you. It's the truth. I ain't got no reason to lie to you. So I appreciate that, bro.
you're not right. So we need to understand this for political reasons. We need to understand this for spiritual reasons. You need to understand this for historical reasons, because this is literally what's playing out right now. You know what I'm saying? They
Mm-hmm.
are on the tail of the white boys who they felt northern wise have assisted you, have, you know what I'm saying? You know, look, it was explained to me like this, and my introduction to it came by way of, I would say, my initiation through the courtrooms. Me hearing things and not knowing when I was a lot younger. And, they would lock us up. We would be in rat packs. It would be 12 to 15 of us. They would always signal me and my brother out, right? And they would say, it's because of your last name. and they would talk to us in a way that was like, do you know who you are? Do you know where you come from? Like they would be doing this shit that my pops would, you know, not saying that he didn't do it. They would be taking a level of responsibility to administer to us, uh, uh, attempting to break through and get through to us. Now, I would imagine if we was in the South, it would be totally different because different ones of them got different pledges to different lodges. So it was told to me that you could look at a shrine symbol and see it from two different ways, right? One person sees it as the sword above the head of the Moorish woman, and that is the holder of secrets, and another sword is to take the head off. So you have those who have pledged, right, to keep the secrets and, you know, to say, look, we're going to continue with this particular birthright theft, and we're gonna keep them dumb, deaf, and blind because we benefit from it. And then those are the one. Then there's the other sect that said, no, we were the custodians, and they went to sleep, and they said that the first sign of them awakening is A, B, and C, and we should look for those signs, and we're compelled to look for those signs. And when we identify those signs, then we have to prepare ourselves to hand the keys to the kingdom back to the rightful heirs and owners. That's part of the contract. So that's the inner war, and we're seeing it play out right now in politics in a way in which is unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? Because they're attempting to really crusade and clean house with those who they were saying were enablers, with those those who were prepared to give these particular keys back. Case in point, I just want to share something real quick, and I may have shared this with you before, Drew, but I'll reiterate it. Like even if our people are destined people that are in the book, that are of the book, then I ask them all the time, well, who are you in the book? How do you identify yourself? If you even want to go with their narrative and saying that, yeah, you people are the bearers of the curse, right? Okay, well, your 400 years technically was up in 2019 if you got here in 1619.
Correct.
If they're saying that you are the bestowers and the bearers of the curse, and you that's that curse of Ham, and that's who you are, them Canaanites, right? Then your curse has been lifted. In 2019 to 2020 was about your jubilee. Your coronation comes a year after that, right? But and then it would totally explain CRT different. It will explain why them corporations came and gave these. It will explain DEI different. It will explain all of these things. Why was these corporations giving back $500 billion? Why was they? And why is this administration on their neck so much about it now? Because they was like, oh look, y'all attempted, right? Y'all attempted to play the game and get them people what you owe them back, but they wasn't even ready to receive it. So now we're gonna double down, right? We're gonna make sure that this is never received and given. And then, ironically enough, this is the Jubilee year of the Catholic Church, right? The year they call it the year of mercy, or hope, if you will. So it's real interesting, to see how these cycles and these pockets and portals of time have played out. But yeah, I learned through the courts, through observing. I remember we was in Plymouth Rock of all places.
Ooh.
With the magistrates that still had the wigs on with the buckles.
Right.
And it was another situation. It was like 11 of us, you know what I'm saying? And everybody got served except me and Red, and they let us go home. And it was always, they never was like y'all telling it. They was just like, yo, y'all got a rabbit foot or something with y'all, because they always giving y'all, you know what I'm saying? They always giving y'all light. They always letting y'all live. You know what I mean? Why is that? So it was incumbent upon me to figure that out myself at some point when I was able to, and again, it leads back to the ones who have taken the oath and the ones who have chose to violate it altogether. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Minister Jew.
Paul, man, pillar.
Yes, sir.
So the question I have for you is, where did the Pope persona come from? What inspired you or motivated you to get in that vein?
Okay. Again, 2019. I'm figuring this stuff out. I don't know a way to have a conversation with our people, right? I come back from, I went to the UK in October of 2019. And so many things happened out there. I came into contact with so much Moorish information out there. They brought us to Parliament. Parliament gave us our own room and vacated Parliament. We had kings and queens with us. We had a meeting with these people that came from the whole diaspora, and they was like, in so many words, we're about to give y'all the keys, right? And we want y'all to do this, we want y'all to do that. You know what I mean? Infidisi was there. We had princes from Ghana, we had queens from the Congo, we had all these people diasporically that had came to have this meeting with us. And then we came home and C-19 happened, like not too long after that. But right before, like right when I came home, I had I knocked the album out called Christ Consciousness. It was a 12 song CD that I did with a brother named Just B. And I kind of knew that I was gonna move to the South. And I was like, yo, like nobody ever made music from a gospel. Artists are always saying, I make music that reflects my environment. I make music that reflects what I grew up around. I make music based on what I've been exposed to. So I was like, none of y'all ever grew up in a household where they play gospel? I was like, so why we never heard that?
Right.
You feel me? So I made an album from that perspective, but still from my perspective of being in the streets of Harlem. And I'm like, how can I ever have this conversation with my own brothers and sisters in this community that's banging on these quote unquote religions, but no one is listening? You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to go to the South, and my reverence for the nanas, my reverence for big mamas in them, you know what I'm saying? My reverence for these stories about melanated women that I know, even in my own family, who have utilized Christianity as their rock. I'm like, I'm not finna just be kicking stuff over out of just total disrespect. Then my name is Paul, and I had to go on my own quest in order for me to know myself, I had to really research that particular history of that character. And based on the 44s, once I learned that his mission starts in 44 AD, and then I go to Galatians 4:4. I go to all of these different verses in this book that's coded with the 44s, and I'm like, well, what am I looking at here? Like, did the Paul in the past leave this for the Paul in the present?
Oh,
Unlock and uncode. These breadcrumbs along the way. You know what I'm saying? So come 2022 in February, I go to Arizona to the International Gym Show. And for some reason, I don this identity out there where I'm just super indigenous. I put the fox hat on. I'm in furs. And when I get to Arizona, I change to a different person for some reason on that grid. And I just get activated. I go to Sedona. I meet up with a Hopi elder. They bring me to this cavern. They do a ceremony inside of the cavern, and they said that the prophecy is that we were waiting on this last family member to come, which is a Moor. And it's like, we've been looking at you for like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And we wanted to, bring you and initiate you into this particular quote unquote priesthood, if you will, right?
Right.
As the fifth missing link. And they started telling me about the Blue Star Kachin and everything and how that prophecy was playing out. And even with me with my fox hat, in the square of Sedona, they have a statue of Merlin in front of Whole Foods, and I was ceremoniously going there and doing, because Merlin is holding the world. And I had already knew based on gematria and some etymology research that I had did prior to that Merlin and Moreland is the same word. So I started doing this psychoactive ceremonial rituals in my mind that I was taking that power back. And when I came back from Sedona, when I came back from Arizona, I initially came to Atlanta. I was gonna pick my stuff up and move to Arizona. And then my brother had moved down here, and brother Rich and King Simon. And they was like, you just can't come and just leave like that. We came down here because of you. So I was like, I'm gonna stay. And for some reason, in April of that year, like April 20 something, I was at a Talia hair show. It was Talia, she do like the natural, she do a big natural hair convention in Atlanta. And then something just, a voice in my head was like, I want you to push the envelope. Like go throw this outfit on in front of all of these people, like all of these killing your ego, the whole putting it, all of these moves towards killing my ego was with the spirit was like, I just want you to do outlandish shit just to kill the ego in public. Like, stop caring what people think. You know what I'm saying? Show up and show up for service. And and that's where the Pope Pablo came out of that. You know what I'm saying? That I had a lot that I wanted to speak about in terms of religion and spirituality. And then they weren't receiving me because I had on crystals down here, and they were super spooked about my crystals. So they was already casting judgments on me because pastors prior to me arriving down here, they was talking crazy about demonic spirits being in crystals and the burning of sage, things of that nature. They was castigating consciousness once again in the era of woke at that. So I had to figure out how to navigate, but I also wanted to kill off certain aspects of my ego, and I wanted to free myself up to just get into character, to be able to have uncomfortable conversations in somewhat of a comfortable manner, because I'm very much comfortable as Pope Pablo.
That's dope. That's dope. Noble, you be laughing at me. I went down to Atlanta. I had no idea. I went down in the Hebrew Israelites camp.
Yeah.
And I went in there talking about the New Testament.
And that dude brung Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
I had no idea.
You had no idea?
I had no idea, man.
Okay.
No idea, man.
Yeah.
But I went in there bold and proud.
That's right.
You know, bold and proud. So, Paul, man, for many years, you've spoken about this 40-fold frequency, this 40-fold resonator.
Yes.
How do you compartmentalize that? Do you look at it as something external speaking to you, or do you look at it as something that you're projecting out into the world and causing the phenomenon to appear outwardly? How do you, what's your position on that?
I look at it both ways, and that's why the best way that I explain it is through symbolism. So I said, if we imagine what a tesseract looks like and how a tesseract operates, it's a cube within a cube, and it's going within and without. So there's some aspects of the 44 observations that I'm projecting, and there's other aspects that are internalized that I'm being brought aware of, that I'm gaining notice of, to concentrate inwardly about a reminder, preparation, you know what I'm saying? Or just slowing down. Like sometimes it's telling me to pump my brakes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's reminding me, oh, I got something coming up, or I got supposed to call this person. So I'm able to focalize my consciousness. Other times it's like, sit and meditate, because you gotta hear yourself. You have to make a prophecy, right? You got to be prophetic or something. You got to call something out, and you have to have the courage to do it, because I'm doing it in public in front of everybody, and they want to see me fail.
That's real.
Laugh at me and be like, nigga,
that's real.
You and them dumbass 44s.
That's real. Speak to that, Paul, because that's a very important concept right there. Where when you step into this priestly ministerial role, this pope role, how important is it for you to have faith before what it is that you say is going to happen happens? Because go ahead.
So I had encountered as well, because I was not scared to step out and explore different things and to go and travel amongst different networks. I would travel a lot and I would run into people who had a lot of criticisms about consciousness. And I would listen to them. Like anytime I would show up, because my peer groups wouldn't travel. So I had to catch everybody's arrows everywhere that I went. And I wasn't combative. I hear you out. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not gonna get aggressive with the commentary, to not forget I'm not the person who you taking this out on. I'm just here lending the ear. And they would be like, I want to challenge the conscious tropes, right? And one of the conscious tropes are, they castigate everything with the same net. So faith and belief are something that they only correlate to religion. So they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I remind them that Napoleon Hill says faith and belief are foundational to manifestation. And if you throw them out with the bathwater, you don't have nothing to replace it with. So you're not going to be able to jump straight to gnosis and not have exercised faith or belief. How do you know? Right? How do you know? You have to gain your footing. You know what I'm saying? Before you have the total confidence to just always be in the know. So faith was very important. And I had to show them. I could not tell them. They didn't want to hear it.
Right.
So I'd be like, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I know that y'all would love that, right? If I fail, you know what I'm saying? Because that's tomorrow's post.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, game on. So it was that self-sacrificing, not necessarily to prove a point. And if it is, it's to prove a point to yourself, first and foremost. Because then once you build a confidence to be like, oh, I got it, then I'm gonna bait them in every opportunity. And it's not to shame them, but it's to remind them, like, no, these things are foundational. Like, again, stop beating up Big Mama and Nana. There's certain things that they taught you from that demonstration that's imperative to you being able to navigate this existence in this particular paradigm that we're in, right? The stuff that you're talking about is not really situated and formatted for the world and the reality that we live in. It's like this thing got rules to it per se, and there's reasons that you know there's reasons that we exist within the envelope of this particular demonstration, right? We live in the Jesus Christ's narrative, and it's like there's particular ways that you can master this reality before you totally crack the matrix. Now, I guess some people have been bought into this thing and they're just natural neos. So I'm like, all right, we'll sit back and take notes. But in the interim, in the meantime, this is how we navigate. Faith and belief are integral and they precede religion. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Absolutely.
Indeed. What was the Law 44 was the first initiation for you when it got your attention going in the Bible and seeing the book of Paul, or was it something before that?
You were there, brother. You're partially responsible, and I always credit you on every platform. So I'll remind you, it was 2009, and I had to get prepared for my very first lecture. I was invited by Black Dot to join them for the Hip Hop Decoded, I think it was Blueprint 322. And you had a book from Jose Arguelles called Time in the Technosphere.
Yes.
And my introduction to Mayan time, to the calendrical systems, to challenging the clock and the calendar. His book was the first place that I recall being mystified by the beautiful architecture of this number. Because, just a little reference, we were in Harlem at that time. The reason that I came to Harlem was to help my grandfather, right? Who, he was just getting a little bit older around that time. He was in the home, but he would always be outside in the streets. He hit the block and he's on a rip in a tear. when I'm around him, though, he's like a broken record telling me the same thing over and over, repetition, drilling it into my subconscious. And one of his main spiels was about the number 4.
Mm.
Paulie, there's no number in the world like the number 4. There's no other number to do 2 plus 2 equal 4. 2 times 2 equal 4. That enough for him,
Right,
right? He was the deepest nigga ever.
right,
Look, you couldn't tell him nothing,
right,
right? But he would go further. The 4th orifice, the womb, we all come through.
yeah.
4 seasons. He said, he told me, and I love him for this because my imagination is something that's integral to everything. He said it's 4 continents. I said, I'm with you. Look, he said, Americas, right? He said Asia is inclusive of Eurasia, right? Whole continent. Africa. He said Australia is the biggest archipelago. And he said Antarctica is the 4th continent. I said, I love it. You know what I'm saying? And he kept every other iteration of 4, he just would drill that into my mind and remind me of how impactful this number 4 was. So he had transitioned by '09. I think he had transitioned in '08, right? So me seeing the 44s was my ability to have something that was still me, but was still part of him per se. Because I'm a twin, so the 4s is a dope number. But what about the 44s? And then I just kept seeing it, and then challenging myself, right? Because I'm learning I'm learning. I'm being indoctrinated into a new education about time and appreciation for time. So I don't ever want to believe that we're again belief that we're wasting time. That nothing is wasteful. So I'm like, if we've been exposed to something, if we're around something, it must be for a reason because we're on the right trajectory, and we've already signed up for this course to uplift all of humanity. So whatever is put in front of us has to be of use because none of it can be wasteful. So I'm like, I have to exhaust finding the meaning for why this number keeps popping up at these propitious moments as if it wants to be discovered, as if it wants me to go a little bit deeper, right? But I also have to be mindful of my own mental faculties to make sure, again, that I'm not driving myself crazy because, if you're looking for something, you know what I mean, you can generate it. You can self project. You know what I'm saying? You can create your own narratives as well. The mind is that powerful.
Which leads me to this question: would you really be crazy if that was the case, right? Or would that be more indicative of a power that we have that that because we're not used to putting it into practice regularly, sometimes it makes us feel uncertain about ourselves.
Yes. At this point in my life, I would definitely say that is the ideal, right? That if you do get that going on, you know what I'm saying? You crack the code. Yeah, you are outside of the matrix. You have figured it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you should be leaning on. And dream bigger dreams if that's the case.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, now that you know that, take it there. Because you're playing outside of the box, and very few people will get there. Marvel the world and show them something, show them what it looks like now to be outside of the box, and then all of a sudden, then you help them ascend to where you are. So we're breaking this matrix and we're wiggling out of these boxes. You know what I'm saying? Not for our own personal liberation. It's really to crack the mold altogether. Um, because yeah, I mean, this thing it needs to be shifted. It's looking to be shifted, and it's a perfect time for the shift. So yes.
Indeed.
Wonderful.
Indeed. Let's transition to take us to Soul Gold, man. How you get there, and yeah, how you get
Yes.
there? Yeah.
So the goal endeavor again that was around as well the year of about 2010. Um, I had been introduced to this concept of monatomic goal by Dr. Delbert Blair, and Blair would always speak about it, but never bring it with him. He would he would never bring the goal on on trips. You know,
Mhm.
coming to lectures. He didn't want to expose it to radiation
Mm.
through the airports or what have you. So he would never bring it. And I was always yo, like Blair, I need to, you know, I need
Let
this
me get
goal.
that. Let me get
Yeah,
that.
let me get that. Like, let me figure it out. I remember I came to Chicago. That was the last straw. I came to Chicago and you know, Blair invited us over the house and everything. And I still couldn't get my hands on the gold. So I'm like, I asked his permission because you know, brother Hank Rosin's son introduced me to somebody who had access to it, you know, in a different form than our brother Blair had it. Because I think Blair had pills or what have you, and his brother had liquids, monatomics. And I was like, Blair, would you mind if, you know, I did our thing over here because there's really no representation of the product on this side. You know, when you show up, you don't show up with it. And you know, the internet wasn't even that powerful then when people was like, yeah, I'm just depending on shipping. They wanted it in real time. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I started working with it. And then I started bottling it, you know, getting it available to the masses. And then I had a genius idea in 2011 to mix it with this particular wonder water that was on the scene at the time, making all of this fanfare and noise, which was alkaline water, the introduction of alkaline water into the community. And I was like, wow, well, I can utilize the alkaline water as a transmitted utility to get this gold into people's bodies. So I
Mhm.
mixed the gold in the water, and that's where
Soul Gold, right?
the gold water comes from.
Dope, dope,
Yes.
dope. You want to time travel a little bit? I'm
Yeah.
gonna show you something here, man. I'm gonna show you something, right?
Yeah.
And so let me blow this up because this is absolutely related to you. So
Mm-hmm.
this arrow is pointing to a publication that we did back in 2013. Y'all see the date, 2013, July 18th. And it's called Blue Star
Right.
Priesthood Prophecy. Now, I'm not going to read the prophecy because, again, I've been put under a gag order. I'm always going to tell Minister Jew got me under a tight gag order on certain things. But lo and behold, about 7 months later, George Zimmerman made the news, and the whole thing was circulating. It was a rumor, but I understood what it meant from the spirit world that George Zimmerman is going to fight DMX. And I said, "Oh, that's the
Mm.
dog. It's Judgment Time. I know what this is talking about." So I go and I put your brother Phil Moreland, as y'all can see, February 10th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I put him in on it, and you know I ain't gonna show the communication beforehand, but it's like, hey, it's showtime. It's about to be game on, right? So we do some work. And lo and behold, some months later, brother, this projection pops up in reality in California, where let's read the story. And by the record, this is not red pill on the right hand side, it's red pill on the left hand side. But I said,
Yeah.
oh no, I know better. I know what this is. And we can see King
Oh
Tut on
man.
the shirts and everything, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when we read into the story, the man yelled, I love Jesus Christ. Sound like some Pope Pablo stuff to me. But anyway, and the people who reported this was who? KTLA.
TL.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Ain't red pill, blue pill, KTL no the ledge radio? Hold on.
Yes.
But the reason why I got El Capitan Theater, and you see the L, as y'all know, the Moorish brothers go with L, is because in the priesthood prophecy, it was something that dealt specifically with a particular planet in the name El. Okay.
Yes.
And so as I gave that communication to the red pill, and then we see this. Now, here's the legend. The legend is on this particular day of this event, blue pill was on that street or just walked the street.
No, I had just left 5 minutes prior. I had a program that day. I had a blog talk and I needed Wi-Fi, so I jumped in the cab or the Uber and went to the library. But I literally was in that location. Like I walked by the car, I looked in it, and all of that. There was a police. There was a laptop in the car, and I was like, "Damn, they got a laptop in the whip." But yeah, I literally was on that block.
It's crazy. That's
now,
crazy.
see, this is. Listen, I don't think they really understand, DeBeer. No, man. Listen, man. Listen, I don't think they understand. So you can't just glaze over that like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that, family. You can't So first of all, when you look at that picture, see, y'all probably think, oh, okay, no. That whoever this fellow was right here,
yes,
yeah.
If you would have saw like the it in motion, looks exactly like the pillars.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want y'all to really understand this.
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Straight up doppelganger. Say it again, Roger, in the chat. Straight up entanglement.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is where they Einstein was right by calling it spooky.
Right.
because then you have to it's some questions that you have to ask.
Yeah.
Behind that, like, are we man? It's like we not even really scratching the surface of what we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
This is what this real. We listen, man. You walk-ins walking in.
Yeah.
And see, this is why when these brothers said earlier, some secrets are best kept secret. Because see, and that's why the Noble said, you got me under gag order. Because see, I'm not no fool. I understand. Certain people get wind and try and like really figure this out. It could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
A problem.
It can.
See what I'm saying? So the wise people, the responsible people, you can call them gatekeepers if you want to, but when you, especially if you know the person's heart, then you understand why. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we got projections walking around doing the bidding. Listen, no, you know I said this. Spirit will tell on you.
Oh man, it's gonna leave a spiritual fingerprint.
It's gonna always be a fingerprint.
And you know it in your world as coincidence.
Yes.
Right. Call it coincidence.
So I'm telling you, man, firsthand experience. I had to stop what I was doing.
That's right.
Several years back, because see, my government name started popping up in news stories.
That's right.
I called no. I said, oh, they tricking. They telling.
Thought it's filling over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, man,
yeah.
I just want to elaborate on that because see, people might see that and they think, oh, okay, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was super duper localized. You know, that wasn't randomness at all. It was something like you said. It bled through the timeline. It jumped off the page. It they call it shark jumped the track. All of that. Everything. It was. You can't explain it with the rational mind, if you will. You know.
Yeah, man. I they said that. I just wanted to confirm the legend. You know what I mean? That you know, allegedly you was in the vicinity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You blazed the trail. Okay. But man, I got some other stuff, man. You know what I mean?
Run it.
Let me ask you this. Blue Pill. Yeah, 9 o'clock. I know you're an older fella now. You go to bed at 9 so you can go work out.
You too, Noble. You too.
Oh yeah. All right. I told him, hey, when he told me he'd be in bed at 9, he was like, "Hey, bro, can we do 8 o'clock? Cause I be in bed at 9." I started laughing. I said, "You old too, nigga? I be in bed too, nigga." You know what I'm saying? And so,
I got it extended. We good. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you could wave the magic wand, right, and have a global conference, everybody is just looking at your message for you to give humanity the directive. You know what I mean? See, you coming off the mothership, and these are our leaders, and they said, "Paul, speak." What's the blueprint? What's the blueprint, bro? What would you like to see?
That's interesting that you would ask that, you know, because I've been going through a mental scenario, you know, with 3-Eye Atlas, and again, you know, this whole concept of what you looking for is looking for you, and I had an experience in June 25th, 2010, with a mothership, and I'm not going to get into the long, drawn out aspects of it. But again, what I'm seeing now is just a reminder of that. To say, if you had cosmic cover, right? If you had the cosign, if you had that particular, you know, if they pulled up and they like, yeah, you know, we want to talk to, you know, and then they put the microphone and they like, yeah, let our son come and, you know, speak his mind. Y'all been suppressing the truth for too long. If you had that moment, what would you do with it? You know what I'm saying? What universal message would you have to your people? You know what I mean? You know, I would tell them it's the best time to get, you know, our affairs in order, and, you know, subjugate our enemies and our adversaries, because they got to go. But you know, I would have to rise to the occasion and just compel people to dig a little bit deeper and to bear witness to the power of love. And I would want to demonstrate a real-time operative lesson for them to tap into that love. I think I would do a collective breathing experiment. And I would instruct them on proper breathing, abdominal breathing, and I would really, you know, push them into that deep methodical breathing to get them into theta, because I know that once they get into that part of their brain, what they need to know for themselves will be that much more easier communicated. So if I wanted them to get into the one mind aspect, I would have to do a guided meditation through deep breathing. And to me, that's the best way to lead them to love, rather than poetic prose, you know, me giving them platitudes and talking a good one. It's like, nah, let me breathe with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a good game. That's a good game. It's a good game. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. I'm sure you've watched Drink Champs before, right? Yeah, you watch Drink Champs, right?
Yes, I
So
have.
y'all know you may got some Soul Gold over there. I know you don't drink alcohol. We can call it ether shot, right? So you know
Yes.
how the game go, right? So I'm sorry, Nori. I actually love that game, Nori. Sorry. All right, so you're gonna take an ether shot. So I'm gonna say a name or some names. If you can't choose or you say both, you gotta take a shot, right? You're gonna take an ether shot, right? But pick one. You don't have to give a reason why. It's just up to you, and you can give a reason why if you
I
want
know
to.
how
You
the
know what I'm
game
saying?
go.
All right, let's roll with it. All right. The first one is a threefold name, a trifecta, but you can only pick one. Delbert Blair, Bill Valentine, and Bobby Hemmett.
Bobby.
Woohoo, Bobby. Okay. KT or Yaki Awaken?
KT.
Sonetta or Radiohead Rich?
Radiohead. Damn.
Hebrews or Moors?
Morse.
Bible or Quran?
Bible.
More science or Nation of Islam?
Oh,
Nation of Islam.
New York or ATL?
Damn.
We'll take that shot. We gonna take that shot. Do we got one? We got one. We taking that ether shot.
New York.
And why? Whoa, okay. C. Freeman L. or Taj Tariq Bey?
Oh,
Taj.
Woo! Wow. Ancient Africa or ancient Americas, like Granddad said?
Ancient Americas.
Queen Afua or Dr. Jewel Pookrum?
Queen of Fool.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Nah.
Nas? Oh, you going against Jew? Oh, all right. I got two more.
That's not a. That's no a. It's no shade. That's not a bad pick. You can't really lose. You can't lose.
Two more. Loyalty or respect?
Loyalty.
Red pill or blue pill?
Red.
There you go.
No.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go, man. There you go, man. There you go. All right. That's what's up, man. But yeah, man, anybody got something in the chat?
That was good.
Yeah,
that was
you
good
know,
too.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Good.
You know,
I hope
got
you do that frequently, man, because that was good. I think everybody needs to clean their clock with that.
Right. For sure. But if y'all got something in the chat, now's the time. Put it in and whatnot. Somebody said something that I wanted to get to. Now, you know, it wasn't Osmos, but I appreciate you, man. Say people literally don't miss. I never not leveled up with the brothers' content. Appreciate you. Somebody had a question. Where it go on the Masonic secrets and why you're keeping them if it ain't bad. I wish I
saw that.
Find it. Yeah. I wish I can find it because I want to highlight it. You know.
Yeah.
And yes, brother Yusef said, brothers, is this also called synchronicities that show you something beyond what rational thought can process? Yes, the meaningful coincidence when there's a meaning behind it. Absolutely. Man, I want to find that. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to answer it before you find it, or you want to find it first?
Oh, yeah. You absolutely can. Here it is right here. Oh, man, how the heck that just skip? I just saw it. But yeah, you can answer it.
Again, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're Masonic secrets. I would just say that as a priest and a member of a priesthood or a member of a craft, I have appreciation for levels and degrees. Everything is not to be divulged to everyone. You know what I mean? That there's still a prerequisite for people to access the inner sanctum to get particular information. Yeah, that's why.
And Farrakhan said it best too. He said, "Truth out of season is worse than a lie."
Yeah. Nikashi 969. I'm gonna give you a secret. I'm gonna give you a secret because when I found it out, it blew my mind. See, this is what gets me riled up right here, and I love this part. See, when we start talking about secrets as if you got the enemy's secret, I don't never ever want to. Don't tell me nothing. Only give me intel about an enemy so I can figure out how to cripple the enemy, and I'm gonna do it from spirit. So if you understand, when we went to that projection. And we say, ho, and Jews like, hey, hold on, I don't think they really understand what's going on. There's a whole body of work that we can literally show you this, but you're so powerful that you can create an external event with your mind and somebody else is doing it. And I'm just gonna make it plain. They think they're doing it under their free will, but they're really picking up on your ether call that's making it happen. You can prove that. All right. So I want to cripple the idea of the enemy. I don't want to big no enemy up ever. I want to cripple it, right? So when I start investigating this whole Illuminati, the Catholic Church, they got the birth certificates, and they the one that's behind it, you will find out that the Catholic Church does not rock with Freemasonry. You will find out it was Friday the 13th that one of the popes and one of the kings of France had put some boys to death. The Knights Templar, all right, had put some boys to death, all right? And you go a little bit deeper, you're going to find out that the real secret of the 33rd degree, it ain't got nothing to do with all these numbers in the Illuminati, ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm talking about textbook, Masonic textbook. You want the 33rd degree? The 33rd degree says when the time is right in the future, and excuse my French, and this is, I'm talking what's in the Scottish Rite 33rd degree. When the time is right in the future, we are fucking the Catholic Church up for what they did to the Knights Templar. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. I thought the Masons and the Catholic Church was on the same side. Illuminati white supremacy. You mean to tell me in the highest degree, they saying, yo, if it ever comes a time where it's a big war and the Catholic Church is at war, you are to side with the Catholics' enemies so you can come back and handle them.
The big payback.
I said, niggas is lying to me. Niggas been lying to me the whole time. See, this is the problem. So now that's what they say in their school, right? So why should something like that? See, this if the church historically, if we want to say that shit enemy because they signed papal bulls, to go ahead and say, hey, yeah, go Portugal, go ahead, go get them niggas from West Africa. Let's get it popping, right? But maybe you did it to them first, and we need to balance that out and fall back, maybe, right? But anyway, when you're dealing with something to that scale, why should that be? What you mean? Why should that be out in the public? You understand what I'm saying? We talking about going to war again in the future at any time. You promise to uphold that. That's what they say. This ain't me. I'm just saying what they say, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to put some respect on that kind of war. This is I always tell people, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I gotta say it. You niggas. No, I gotta say it. You niggas, in your mind, you need to pick a side. Are you like a Union soldier say? Are you on the side of Harriet Tubman, or are you on the side of the former slave master? Because again, I'm gonna make it clear. You got two different type of white boys that's on this landmass, and that's a fact. You got some that's rolling with you. Y'all always bitching and moaning. I'm gonna say it. Y'all always bitching and moaning and pom-pomming and cheerleading. White supremacy is all a trick and woo to sound deep. Get out that shit, man. That shit ain't gonna serve you. Figure out who whooped their ass and who's against them, and what's that spiritual power all about. Because if it's only one God, then you got to ask the question, like Abraham Lincoln asked the question, well, shit, it's the Civil War. There's only one God. We both praying to the same God. We're going to see who God side on. And I said, God damn, Lincoln. That's Lincoln.
Two prayers, one God.
Whoa. And we see what happened. So learn how to follow the spirit of victory, as I call it.
So right? I'm glad you said that. Go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, and you got to check the temperature on that. When it got to be when the push come to shove, family. It always going to be when the push come to shove, when the rubber really got to meet the road. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everybody got to put their cards out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so until it get like that, then people can hide their hand. But like Blue said, in this current climate that's unfolding, man, listen, people showing you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely.
As the proper societal structure to navigate what we're dealing with right now would be a ministry. You know what I'm saying? It would be a functional ministries. So, you know, I advise people who you know, who know people who know how to facilitate that. Those are the auspices that I would recommend that you probably would need to come under to navigate, you know, what it is we'll be encountering, you know, 2026 going forward. Um, but like you said, because this is a what it looks like is it's a battle of idioms and you know ideas. Uh, this year's unprecedented because after you know that individual got taken out on TV, they started openly discussing how important debate is to democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started expressing and explaining to people that all of this stuff is ran by ideologues, right? Capitalism, democracy, all of this comes from ideologues, you know, people that were philosophers or what have you, right? So one would have to step back and they say, what we got going on is attached to what? Who are our philosophers? Who are our
Who
ideologues?
are thought leaders?
Who are our thought leaders? What is the black church's eschatology?
Mm.
Right? Because that gives you clear determinant in order for us to say where we're at in time or where we are potentially going, or are we on the back of the bus of somebody else's caravan and
Mm-hmm.
they're careening off the side of the mountain, right? So do you got a parachute? What's your contingency plans? You going down with them, right? So if they're standing up and they're proselytizing their version of Christianity, which may be Christian nationalism, but as you said, when it went down and there was two prayers, one God, and their version did not win out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Mm-hmm.
leaning on, melanated people, body of Christ, to consecrate and say, not again, never,
That's
right?
right.
You got to see
Right.
me first. Why
Right.
don't I hear, why don't I hear a unified voice? Why don't I see a unified body? Right? The crusaders are crusading in the name of your Lord.
Mm.
So what now's the time to show and prove. I don't need the history lessons and you telling me what he looked like in his well, nigga, where's your God at?
Mm.
Where's your
That's
armor
in
of
Malachi.
Christ?
Where's your God at
Yeah,
now?
where's your
Mhm.
God at? You feel me? You got to get out there and battle because now they're battling for the idea of whose God gets to reign as the God in this particular paradigm. And they're flying under a different banner. You know what I'm saying? Or are they? And if you don't have any idea who you are, how can you tell?
Mm.
So it's like it's the JO felony. I could give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? Yeah, keep things in degrees and layers, right? With access to who deserves to have access to it because they know specifically what they're gonna do with it. We just can't be out here opening up the toolkit saying just grab anything and go.
Mhm.
That's not how it works. It never did and it never will. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't jump straight to the bench and be like, I'm gonna bench 4 plates. It don't work like that.
No.
You got to work your
Which is
way down.
why,
You have to qualify yourself.
which is in a lot of listen, you can tell who's who by what Pillar said earlier. Because see, at the base of it, it takes somebody to really have to believe, bro,
Mm-hmm.
that whatever tool you are given, you have to believe that it's going to work.
Have to.
You have
Yeah.
to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you just check in a litmus test for what we see, me and Anpu say this all the time. People out here say they believe, but they really do not.
They don't.
They don't.
They do
'Cause
not.
right, because belief is tied into feeling,
Yes.
right? And that's what activates the aspect of you as a sentient being. And that's why people might look down on pomp and ceremony, but pomp and ceremony is necessary and important because it initiates you into feeling, right? So if I'm in the darkness and I hear that it's time to go, I don't need to see a goddamn thing. I just need to be reminded of how I felt.
That's right.
When what was being programmed, and I can initiate right then and there.
Yeah.
And I can see the sun at midnight, right? So it's not, yeah, like it's for everyone if everyone is qualified. But if they're not, then it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just as simple as that. And it's no one's keeping secrets, and we ain't riding a goat and making demonic oaths or what have you and pledges. You know, no one is keeping something from you that you think is gonna automatically make your SNAP benefits activate. That's not the way that this goes, right? It's just, yeah, it's like qualify yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you show up, what you looking for is looking for you, and it will find you. And until then, you're not gonna find it, nor should you, because you may potentially hurt yourself more than you can help yourself.
Man.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is,
You-
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Speak to something for me real quick, Blue Pill. Because I kind of want to put something on the record, but don't get no detail. You don't got to don't get no detail. Just speak to the feeling and perhaps maybe what transpired for you. We, meaning you and I,
Mm-hmm.
we've been behind enemy lines for real, and went into certain secret places unbeknownst to them.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken things. What
Mm-hmm.
was the feeling afterwards, or that particular experience that you know I'm speaking about?
Again, it was the same thing. Like if I had not prepared myself in my mind to say I'm worthy to stand like that, to step like that, then there would be a feeling of nervousness. But when you package and present yourself, right? I used to go to the tech and um,
Mhm.
Cleopatra's Needle 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I would stand on that granite and tell my ancestors, utilize me as a fulcrum for change. I'm offering my vessel up. Whatever it takes, right? I'm signing up. Put me in the game, coach. All that. So when those situations show themselves as opportunities to take advantage of, then I'm taking advantage of it, and I'm standing on ancestor time, standing on business to say, you know, whatever. Like, yeah, let's shoot the let's run a fade. And you
Mhm.
gotta, that's how you have to show up. But again, everybody's not orientated like that. Everyone has not self-initiated themselves to be ready for the big initiation.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you that this thing got
AKA no, AKA the big boss.
The
the
big
big
boss.
boss, this thing got levels and layers. And again, I highly recommend people to take their time. And again, you can believe something about yourself, but then you got to go and know about it. You have to know who you are before you jump out there, you know what I'm saying? Ready, willing, and able to square up with the final boss, if you will. Because even with this cloth, like I was running down in their temples with my attire, and that shit does not fall on deaf ears. Like those people clap back, and they don't play fair
Mhm.
because they come and get your own. They're not gonna be the ones to do it in the ethereal astral planes. They got the best. They got the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And some of them is you would think is on your side, and all of that shit is for hire when you find out. Unfortunately, at the end of the day. So yeah, please, y'all, do not be like know where you're at in this narrative. Know
Mhm.
who you are and how you show up, but always envision what your end game is. You know what I'm saying? Every single day, I remind myself The victory is guaranteed. The victory was promised. The victory is already ours. So in my mind, I'm not heading towards something. I'm already there. You know what I mean? So you gotta have very powerful ways of programming yourself. Um, but also, you know, you got to be able to take your own temperature. What's the litmus test that you're taking to make sure that you're not necessarily just hallucinating, but that you hitting your target. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Somebody got a good question in here. They
yeah.
say advice for younger esoteric students ready to reapproach Christianity and the Bible again. Study methods, specific doctrines, understanding. What you got for them, Blue? What was some advice you would give somebody looking to reapproach
Again, my
Christianity?
my methodology. Um, Again, my methodology of observing scripture. When I'm looking for a living testament, I read the scripture of the Gregorian calendar date. So, you know what I mean? I would be in 1029, I would be in 1030, right? Or I'll reduce it. I would turn 29 to 11 if there's not a 29 in a particular chapter that I'm looking for. You know what I mean? But I
Mhm.
also, I would be foundated if you have a backdrop in esoteric occult, then I would bring more of a Gnostic overstanding or insight when I come back to Christianity this time. You know what I'm saying? Go a little bit deeper. Find out who Paul is and where the distortion took place, because that's called Pauline Christianity for a reason.
Mhm.
Christ is in the Bible. The Bible is not about Christ, though. It's the writings of Paul. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? So don't be deceived. Know who you're listening to, know what you're looking at, but get some backdrop information. Read the Essenes, read the Gnostic accounts of who Christ was before that particular word got politicized and manipulated. You feel me? Know why the op may be able to derive what he considers to be power from it, but you can't. There's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? You need to figure that out. Yeah, go back to the Apocrypha and just do a little bit more research. And again, for balance, don't get lost in that and don't get lost in the sanitized anglicized version. Because they're in there's an act there's access. You can access it, you can make it work for you, but you have to figure out where do you exist in the narrative. you know what's your end game? Like, what do you hope to get out of this as well? Is it salvation? Is it personal salvation? Is it just inquiry? Do you want to just have cool talking points so you can be in society and navigate, right? Because they are quickly turning this into a theocracy. You know what I'm saying? A country that's being led by Christianity and Christian ideals. I would say challenge that, but again, not so much outwardly in your own studies. Look up what Christian deists are. Deist. That's what the founding fathers were. They were deists, and they have a total different observation or understanding of Christianity than Protestants do, right? There's
Mhm.
more dealing with animism. There's more dealing with saying there's a creator of the universe, but this creator doesn't interfere every day in man's affairs. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's more like animism. That's more like your ancestors that they may call pagans, right? And find out where did they deviate? How did it go from deist to where we at now, which is with the post millennialists or the dominionists, right? That's who Christian nationalisms are, right? Um, Yeah, so I would say that. Yeah, and if you're a student of the occult, you're a student of esoterics, you might want to go and read Milton's The Paradise Lost, right? And find out what does the other team believe, right? What does the Satanists and the Luciferians, what do they believe, right? Why is their outlook the way that it is? Why do they seem to have power in this particular realm? Why are they unified? You know, why do they have such a tight network? Right? What are they operating on? What are their truths? What are their beliefs? You should want to know these things so you can identify what you're looking at, because it's going to be obfuscated these days. You're not going to know what you're looking at. It's going to be very much blended.
Indeed, indeed. What's your add on that, Minister Jew? Somebody new studying the Bible, man. That's your thing, man.
I'm gonna tell them the first thing they want to do is ask themselves, well, why do you want to do this? You know, what's, like Paul said, what are you trying to get out of this? You have to establish that for yourself. Are you doing this for what you may perceive as a historical reference? Are you, like you said, are you doing it for salvation? Me personally, and how I teach it, I do use it for salvation, but in a sense of personal salvation, not somebody on the outside doing nothing. Right? Where you come into a realization of who you are and identify those states of awareness in that book in yourself. Right? And then from there, once you start to read the text, I always encourage people to go get them a concordance.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're reading in English is not per se what it say in Hebrew or Greek. And that becomes imperative to your study, because you will see where a large, very large populace have been led astray in relationship to the book. And then you will be able to put the stop gaps there so that you don't veer off on those same paths that hundreds of millions and thousands of people have done, because you will be able to see it for yourself. Right? And then that's going to give you a sense of it's an empowerment, that thing that happens. You know what I mean? Because you're able to say, no. This don't say that. It actually says this. You see what I'm saying? And then that's going to give you a sense of your inner compass, right? Starts to get more focused on what you should be doing from that point. So first you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to get out of this? And then that can kind of lead you in the direction that you want to go, you know, of how you want to approach the book. And if you follow Jew, you know, my thing is, as scripture says, the tree supposed to bear fruit. It got to bear fruit of some sort. And so, you know, what are we using it for? And that fruit it ain't just got to be physical. I want to I'm clear on this, because you may see people getting checks and money and raising all these things happening around here, but it ain't just got to be that. It can be fruit of the spirit too. See what I'm saying? Where you become sure of who you are, because that's the real end game. Who are you?
Right.
You know,
big game, man, big game. Let me do this, and we close it out. So, Paul, I want you to give me your top 4 Mount Rushmore. Don't have to explain if you don't want to. Then we go to closing final statements from Minister Jew, then Blue Pill, then close us out. So your 4 on your Mount Rushmore. I'll share ours because we got the same one. We got Bobby with ourselves on there, of course, but we put Bobby and Dr. Jewel Pookrum for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because Bobby, for me, was the one that said, which I'm gonna talk about in my closing argument. I'm gonna talk about, get on the phone with the spirit world. Don't you know we got to get a goddamn ritual and the beach and the bridge in Minnesota fell down? I said, whoa, what? Oh, what? Okay, game on. Don't you know the white man try to mess with you? Some whole other shit to come online. I said, oh shit, yeah. We got some backup. Goddamn it, y'all talking about the Illuminati all the time, and I'm hearing somebody tell me some old other shit gonna come online. Oh shit, I got something in the final argument. But give me your Mount Rushmore. And, yeah, give me that.
Man. Oof.
Your 4.
That's crazy.
Tough, ain't it? Tough.
Man, I can't. You said if I want to, I can put myself in it.
Yeah,
you can. Yeah, absolutely.
And if I'm a twin, that's not a 2-for-1 special.
hey, y'all was one heartbeat, so y'all can have that one slot.
Yeah.
Y'all got that one slot. That's cool. Y'all double headed. Y'all got the one slot. Then you got 3 more to put on.
Yeah. Get us there. As a purple pill, that's 1. Bobby is 2.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi is 3.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's crazy, yo. I gotta balance this thing out. Man, I gotta balance this thing out, man. The fact that there's not a woman that's just jumping to the forefront is really like one of the main issues, still in this community to this day. Damn, bro. And it's this consistency factor, man.
Not an easy thing. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. And it's just, the shifting dynamics of time. Time tears up the tarmac. Time tears the tapestry in two. Time tears the tapestry in two. Because I be thinking the shit is woven, and then the stitching starts coming out. You'd be like, oh,
yep,
that's so quick.
Yep.
And Dr. Francis Wilson is a legend, but not like I don't find myself going back to that every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And because again, this is about what am I working with now that I was working with then that's still applicable. You feel me? Because I learned more to have appreciation for longevity than anything else. And Bobby
it don't fade.
Bobby echoes through the timelines.
That's right.
Sabi's foundational, and there's such a tree. So many branches come from that I have to put them in that particular ranking.
Right.
And again, my default would be Phil. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to put a woman in that position. You know what I mean? And I would say Mama Pill.
Of course.
Because that was my first teacher, and I'm still learning life lessons that I cannot attribute or pick up. And I'm talking about good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. You know what I'm saying? Not all the way glossy.
Full gamut.
Full gamut. Shit that there's certain pains that I'm gonna learn and be taught that can't nobody else teach me. That I'm only gonna learn from my mother, like the loss of a mother, things like that. The letdowns of a parent, shit like that. That you end up dealing with your Chiron. It's just so many things that I cannot. Yeah, those lessons. That's the stuff that's the stuff that's when you go back and your angels is looking over your notes and stuff. That's the stuff that's gonna be in bold. That's the stuff that you know what I mean. Those are the lessons that you're gonna take with you into another lifetime. Especially if you don't deal with them now, because mine's I could tell they cyclical, just by looking at our cosmic orientation. You know what I'm saying? Um, they had a lunar cycle called Saros 157, I think, and quote, I might be off, but I'll catch it. But what it was a lunar cycle, lunar eclipse cycle, and it had all of our birthdays in it. But it was starting from KT to me and Red to our mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like, man, I found it. I was like, that's hella deep. Like, we in
yeah.
the cosmos with this thing. So this must be a cosmic lesson that we have played out, lifetime after lifetime, cycle
Yeah.
after cycle. Us being Scorpios, all Scorpios, her being a Taurus. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
Mm-hmm.
to put her on that list.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's real, man. That's real. That reminds me of I was doing some Civil War research because that's my thing. And I ain't gonna say who it is, but he absolutely told how the slave powers got defeated, and he was a part of helping black people get a bank, but the Freedmen's Bank. A lot of people just know about the Freedmen's Bureau, but it was actually a bank that we
Mhm.
had as well.
Yeah.
And we had the same birthday. He got married on my son's birthday. I think got married on my mom's birthday, then died on my son's birthday, bro.
Mm.
And I said, "Oh shit, we got the same birthday." Then a significant event happens on my son's birthday, and another significant event in your life happened on my mama's birthday. And then I'm finding the information out so we asked the Paul, I had to ask that question, like, oh, is that me then projecting something out? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, it's almost Nas. It's written.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? It was written.
Yeah,
What that scripture saying, Jeremiah? I knew you before I formed you in the womb.
Yeah, yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
this thing,
let me
man.
qualify as well. I was reading a book on Kabbalah, and the Kabbalah said that your mother is the minor prophetess,
Mm,
right? Your mother's a minor prophetess, and you should always look at her as such because she heard the whispers, right? She imbued you with your name, and they said that your name comes from Creator. There's a rhyme and a reason. There's a purpose, and she don't know, but she still bestows it on you. And I tell people this, when they be like, all right, you could change your name and get away from it, but really do the knowledge to your name, do the etymology of your name, do the gematria of your name. And it's a seed. The full meaning of your name may not come to full fruition into certain stages of your life. My name is Paul. My brother's name is Philip. Philip is the love of horse, and Paul is horse. My mother, that wasn't intentional.
right.
My mother's not a person in the Bible. She said, I'm gonna name you the name of your father's brother and your father's father's brother. And it just so happened, you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? That all of this stuff makes sense. Philip
Uh-huh.
Thomas Moore, Thomas's twin, you know what I'm saying? And then we learn the story about the judging or the Judas Thomas or the doubting Thomas, the fact that they say Jesus had a twin, you know. these these
Y'all,
these things are very interesting. They're very
Yeah.
interesting echoes, like you say. They travel through time and
it was
space.
Paul. What was that sister name, man? It's a throwback. I forget her first name, but it was Muhammad something. Remember, she used to do the name
Dorothy
breakdowns.
Muhammad.
Dorothy Muhammad. That's it.
Sister
Hmm.
Dorothy Muhammad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
spot
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good. It's on YouTube. If y'all look into this reincarnation case of James Lingener,
Mm,
the little white boy who had he had dreams and vivid memories of World War II airplane crashes, and
mm,
then he's giving up information. His parents is investigating this stuff, and then they end up going over to Japan, and dude is crying, and he like, yeah, I died right there, and he's naming names, and then they call up the vets who was there. They were like, yeah, the plane was there. Dude had memory of everything. The sister And the previous incarnation dealing with that World War II pilot, his name was James too. So then the question becomes, what made his mama name him James in this lifetime many years later?
Mm-hmm.
So what the blue pill was just talking about, and what the scripture minister Jew talked about, we knew you in the womb before you were born. Yeah. It's like that. You can go look into that story. All right. Yeah. But yeah, Minister Jew, give us closing words. Anything you got going on in blue pill?
Listen, man. Y'all know where to find me. You can follow me on Instagram over there. Always dropping content, man. Trying to keep that thing active over there. I'm always locked in on this ministry work. That's my calling. That's my purpose. That's what I do.
That's right.
If you want to join the membership or the ministry, we call ourselves the ambassadors of the light.
The light.
Here to demonstrate the power and the wisdom of God on earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the slogan.
Yeah.
That's right.
Visit the website, theimaginationguru.com. Join the membership, man. We get it in. We get it in every month, 4-5 times. I'm behind the scenes working. That's why I don't be popping out too much on YouTube. I'm in class. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
I'm in class for real. You know what I'm saying?
Real. That's right.
Yeah. Go ahead, blue pill, man. What you got going on, man? We can catch
Brooklyn,
you
New York, November 15th and 16th. I will be at Nicholas, Brooklyn for King Simon's 30th anniversary. I got the keynote that Sunday night. I'm gonna be joined by beautiful sister Abundance Child.
Shout out Abundance.
Our trajectory and our stories go back just as far.
Yep.
She brought me on Blog Talk first as well. So it's gonna be a high honor. That would be a day after my 50th. So I'm crossing that rubrics this year as well.
Oh yeah, the Syrian cycle, buddy. Yeah.
So stepping into that thing now.
Yeah.
We got a few events this strong in here in Atlanta called Saint Scorpius. It's like a tribute to artists who have transitioned into the realm of the ancestors. We're gonna play all their music on Saturday, on Saturn's Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh man, some powerful stuff there. Y'all dealing with there, buddy. Yeah. I can see they need some copper and some crystal quartz on the end so that sound can resonate and beam on out. Especially two Scorpius. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on 3i Atlas before we hang up, good brothers?
Oh, he said any thoughts on 3i Atlas? 3i Atlas came in early July, right? On the record book.
It was spotted July 1st. Yes.
Yeah. I can show you what we was doing with a Syrian activation that made beams come out, and we was up in there putting that light beam out. So honestly, 3i Atlas is definitely a part of a creation story that the private work that we do. You know what I'm saying? On popping some things out. But once I seen it, I just like, okay, we fall back, which kind of gets into my final message in a sense, without going into the 3i Atlas, because when I seen it, I'm like, yeah. Listen, black people, seriously, I swear to you when I talk like this, okay? I promise you, I'm serious, man. Please don't worry about a motherfucking thing.
That's right.
I'm serious about this. I'm very serious. No, listen, I'm gonna be clear about it too. Listen, yes, there are enemies and oppositions in spiritual warfare, but it is proven that the body of work, we will fuck them up. And I want to. I'm gonna be clear about that.
Be clear about that.
I want to.
Be clear about
that. All right. Like I'm telling you now, I can't show things. He won't let me show things to let you know we will fuck them up. I will let you know that, because the way I believe in God, we believe, and my brother believed, and I'm talking about blue pill, because we've been behind the lines and stepped to a place and did some things. Okay, all right. So now we gonna call out the big boss for real. If you believe in God, then damn it, let's make it known who is who. I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. So come get me when you're ready. That's what I say. Don't. I can't talk. Don't. I want to hear all that. In the meantime, I'm in my Patreon, minding my business, and we actually focusing on what Paul said. Love. I know how I go from gangster message to love. That's what I'm doing. I know. It sounds crazy, right? But I'm telling you, we are getting tremendous results, and we are doing the inner work that is phenomenal. And I'm in the Quran with it every Friday on YouTube. Noble Anpu, the best. And I ain't saying this because of me. I'm just serious. I'll tell you what people say. It's the best Quranic breakdown and whatnot. I say what Minister Jew is to the Bible, I am to the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, the Quran got some Jews in there that is just phenomenal and whatnot. But we can really go upstairs and focus. But you can catch me on Patreon and YouTube, Noble Anpu. Just go to youtube.com/Noble Anpu. Go ahead, Jew. Go ahead.
So just notice, people, if we ever had to make that call, we need all observations on deck.
Listen, if I say emergency broadcast, because I used to do that. Hey,
there you go.
It's time to mount up. It's time to mount up. And you want to let me tell y'all something, man. I come from the school of thought that said, man, the son of man makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes.
What?
I came from that. I've shown you an earthquake that hit and told you when it was coming months beforehand to the precise location or where it was coming to. That's the God I'm talking about. I roll with that God in real time. I ain't lying. It's on my YouTube. I ain't lying. I forecast and said it's going to be an earthquake right there. It's happening. And on that, and what did it say? On that day, you will know that this is a sign from your Lord. Proven.
Hey, and if you think anybody on this broadcast crazy, that's good. You know why? Because we supposed to play that state. What that verse says, Noble? Right. They're good man, but they're crazy.
Oh yeah. The Quran said that well educated, intelligent, but crazy. Yeah. That's what they saying when the prophet was coming with the information. This nigga
that's
crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I'm just saying, I'm saying that y'all don't worry about that. Let's focus on creating. You know what I'm saying? And you'll know when it's time. You'll know when it's time. You know what I mean?
Listen, man.
Great
show tonight.
Things pop out. You know.
Great show, Blue. We appreciate you coming over here, rocking with us, man.
Oh man, like I said, it's an honor.
You know,
Y'all about that work. Y'all about that work. There's a level of consistency. Minister Drew, you bring the receipts. You know what I'm saying, and that's so very necessary. Anpu, again, I seen you do the impossible on so many occasions. Again, this reinforces us, fortune is the bold to go and do something impossible. Impress yourself, family. You know what I mean? Impress yourself so you can impress upon the universe your intentions. You know what I mean? And the purer, the better, the more lasting.
That's right.
And the more impactful. So focus on, let's work on our hearts so we can work from our hearts.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Yes, indeed, man. Yeah, you ain't lying, man. See, when you say that, the go our logo just popped up right there, man. The golden heart, man. I'm telling you, man. Hey, listen. Trust me when I tell you this. I'm Suli man. And Suli man was on love and he was on his prosperity game, and that's what you get when you over here. But he also could control the spirits. And I'm telling you, the Most High is on our side. Stop talking about all them all the time over there. On our side. And that's how we need to focus to tap in on right there, man. So that's it, man. That's it. We good, brothers?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Indeed, man. We appreciate y'all. Brother Rich, what up? See you in the chat. Man. King Simon, we see you in the chat. Everybody in the chat, we thank you. Y'all. And we catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace out.
Peace to the family, y'all.
Peace and love.
Peace.